From saving its owners from a burning house to warning an old lady of an impending tsunami. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out about the most amazing dogs that have saved lives. Number 10. Jess versus Asthma. Something that gets lost sometimes when having a pet is that an animal can have such a connection with its owner that it understands things that you wouldn't likely expect it to, such as fetching you something in a moment of crisis. This is exactly what happened with a Jack Russell Terrier named Jess. She had been with her owner Rebecca Brooks for some time and realized things about her owner. One day, Rebecca had a massive asthma attack, one that left her unable to move in order to get her inhaler to stop the attack. Realizing what was going on, Jess the dog rushed out of the room, found the inhaler, and brought it back to Rebecca in time to calm down the attack. After Rebecca had recovered, she couldn't help but be curious as to what just happened. Was it luck that Jess had brought her the right object, or was it something else? So she did a test. She put the inhaler in a different place than before, then pretended to have another asthma attack. Sure enough, Jess retrieved the inhaler once again, proving that she understood her owner's ailments. Ironically though, when another member of the household tried to do the same trick, it didn't work, because Jess knew that they did not suffer from asthma. That's one smart dog. Number 9. Stray Saver. In Siberia, one of the worst things that can possibly happen to you is falling through the ice. For if someone isn't there to save you, it's all but a death sentence. This is exactly what happened to young Andrei Pavlov though. For you see, he was out there feeding the ducks near a pond that had been iced over when the ice suddenly gave away and he fell in. Lucky for him, a dog named Nadia had actually been following him all day long. Nadia was a stray, and some believe that she first saw what was going to happen to him, and thus stayed by his side. Sure enough, when Andrei fell through, Nadia started barking loudly and frequently. A woman nearby, one who knew about Nadia, heard her barking and came to see what was going on. Nadia took her to the spot and the woman got help and the boy got out of the water. Because of the time he spent in the water, his recovery took a while, but he lived. Nadia, meanwhile, was adopted not long after, but in a twist, her adoption was approved before the incident. So if she had gotten taken in beforehand, Andrei likely wouldn't have made it. Number 8. Save the Baby. Before we talk about this amazing dog, take a moment to like this video and join the Zero to Hero community by clicking the buttons below. When it comes to dogs, many love having them because they have very good instincts. Specifically, they have very good protective instincts, and thus, they know how to take care of their owners when the time comes. For a Doberman Pinscher named Khan, he went all out to protect the child of his new owners. It goes to show Khan's protective instincts that he protected a 17-month-old because he had only been with the family a week before the incident happened. Specifically, a king brown snake had somehow made it into the family house and was heading for 17-month-old Charlotte. This is really bad because a king brown snake is one of the most venomous snakes in the entire world, so if it had bit Charlotte, her body would not have been able to resist the venom for long. Thankfully, Khan was there, and just as the snake was about to bite, he pushed Charlotte away and took the bite himself before dealing with the snake. After seeing what happened, Khan's owners got him some anti-venom, and both he and Charlotte lived. Number 7. Bark at the burglar. The senses of a dog are highly revered, and for good reason. They have almost a sixth sense to tell when danger is approaching or is about to approach. At other times, their heightened 5 senses can tell them something we don't notice. Kelsey Leachman was living in her home in Kentucky with a rescue pit bull named Layla. Layla had been nursed back to health by Kelsey, who found her in a pretty sorry state. One night, they were relaxing in their Kentucky home when something seemed off with Layla. She started acting weird, then she dashed off into the kitchen and started to bark loudly. Unsure what was going on, Kelsey entered the kitchen and saw a burglar in her house. She tried to flee, but the burglar got a hold of her and took her to the ground. Layla was furious and didn't just bark at the burglar, she bit him repeatedly on the legs. And if you don't know, pit bulls are known for their bites. That's what makes them somewhat dangerous in the wrong hands. Anyway, thanks to Layla, Kelsey was able to not only get free, but chase the robber out of the house. Unfortunately, the police weren't able to find the guy, but that's small potatoes to what would have happened if Layla hadn't have been there to keep Kelsey safe. Number 6. Find the bomb. Believe it or not, dogs have been part of the military for millennia. Even the ancient Romans would use war dogs for various purposes because dogs would use their senses to detect enemy troops, traps, and more. This continues to this day in the modern military, where tracking dogs, sniffer dogs, and more are used for various purposes. In many cases, dogs are used as bomb sniffers to detect explosive devices so that soldiers don't step on them and accidentally get hurt. In the British military, a dog named Trio was very good at his job. This black Labrador was part of the 104 Military Working Dog Support Unit. He served in the war in Afghanistan and multiple times found bombs that would have hurt the soldiers he was working with. Because of his long service and good duty to his squad, Trio was given the Dickin Medal, the highest medal of honor for animals in Britain. But what happened to Trio after his time in the military? Well, he was adopted by his handler, who felt he owed the dog as it had saved his life more than once. Number 5. Get Out. A woman named Laura Smith, who resided in Texas, decided to adopt a dog named Chrome for her family in 2017. Not long after they had gotten Chrome, something happened. One night, Chrome came into Laura's room and started to bark, very loudly and very frequently. Laura was asleep at this point, and because it was 1 a.m., Laura at first decided to try to ignore Chrome, but Chrome continued trying to get her up, and her senses started to realize that something was wrong with the house. It was on fire. In a rush, she went and got her 2 children and left the house before it burned itself to the ground. Faulty wiring is believed to be the cause of the fire, but it was never confirmed. The local community came together to help the Smiths out, and Chrome was treated like the hero he was. Number 4. Keeping you warm. Accidents on ATVs are almost always bad because they offer little to no protection to their riders. Sure enough, a 56-year-old man from central Queensland had a particularly bad bike accident and found himself pinned under his quad. The bike was so heavy that he truly couldn't get it off of him, and thus, there he remained. The only good news was that his dog was there with him, and the dog was kind enough to snuggle up to his owner and keep him warm as the night came. The next day came, and a nearby neighbor found the two and called emergency services. The doctors openly admitted that if the dog had not kept the man warm, he likely would have passed away from hypothermia. Number 3. Back off. This is a tale from Garibaldi, Brazil, where a man named Osmar Persico had a dog named Max, and was doing what most owners do with their dogs. He took Max for a walk, but this is where things went wrong. For a couple of burglars tried to rob Osmar. When he refused their demands, they shot him. The bullet barely missed his skull and just grazed him. Max, furious at what was happening to his owner, attacked the robbers. One of them immediately fled, but the other decided to shoot Max 3 times. Osmar was able to get Max to the vet, and despite what should have been fatal injuries, Max lived. Maybe someone from above wanted to award him for his good deed. Number 2. Push the button. While dogs sometimes are able to sense what to do on their own, it's good to know that you can train them to do key tasks when lives are on the line. For a woman named Judith Shaw, that's exactly what saved her life. She had a bad case of glaucoma, and at one point she actually passed out from the pain of the sickness. Her dog was there though, and Louie knew exactly what to do. He found the panic button, and when the services answered, he barked loudly at them. When no human was heard from Louie's end, they put 2 and 2 together and sent people to the house. Judith lived, all because her dog pushed the button that she trained him to push. That's a good boy. Number 1. Walk Me Now. This is a story that's almost too unbelievable to be true, and yet it is. One day, a 12-year-old Shih Tzu named Babu was getting antsy, and she went to her owner, an 83-year-old woman named Tammy, and barked to indicate that she wanted to go for a walk. And this was odd for many reasons. Not the least of which was that the dog hated going for walks. So why did she want one now? But Tammy was willing to take her out on the walk, and so they did. But Babu didn't stop after a little walk. Instead, she not only led her owner away from her house, she made her walk up a tall hill. What was going on here? Where was the dog leading the owner? Well, Tammy would soon get the answer, for after getting to the top of the hill, she turned around to see her house. Except it wasn't there, for the 2004 tsunami was washing it away. That's right, this dog not only sensed the tsunami, it sensed it at such a distance that Babu had the time to get her owner to high ground, which meant that she fully understood what a tsunami was. That's pretty impressive. What do you think about these incredible pet stories? Let us know in the comments below and take care.